Hello, my Danganronpa army. Well, I finished chapter 1, which means I did my first investigation, and I did my first trial, which took way, way longer than I was prepared for it to, and I saw a young man executed. And I'm taking a sick day. And I saw huge spoilers online for not just this game, but the whole series, so it's time to have a hashtag Danganronpa diary. I'm here with the tea, and as usual, this is not the series for you. If you don't want to be spoiled, I'm going to say everything that's happened, everything I know will happen, and everything in the series that I know will happen in order to have maximum theorizing power. So see yourselves out if that is you, and if you're here for the tea, it wasn't the motorcycle guy. It wasn't him. This is good fun, that I've really been enjoying these episodes, and I really like having them on the mallways where I can be a bit more informal and messy and just whatever. However, I gotta keep it a little bit concise, otherwise I'm not gonna have enough B-roll to make the episode. So I will start with a summary of what I played and my impressions. Then I will talk a bit about the economy and the stock market of my favorite characters, because that shifted around a good bit. It's very early, it's a very volatile market. And then I'll make my predictions for what the heck is going to happen next. Maybe in chapter 2, maybe in the whole series. I don't know. But the Mondo, the motorcycle guy, was completely unrelated to the crime. Spotify led me wrong. And then I thought, okay, it seems like he's gonna execute the guy who did do it because motorcycle death cage. No, I haven't seen the motorcycle death cage. I'll talk more about that later, but the motorcycle death cage slept. That's a phrase from playing 45s where I grew up. It's a card game, and you have to be very strategic about you have to think about the big powerful cards and think who has them. Are they going to renege them? Are they going to keep them in their hand? Are they going to play them? Or did they sleep? Are they not even here? They're in the deck right now. Nobody even has them to work with. Motorcycle Death Cage slept, and now I'm afraid to look at the soundtrack, even though I did hear some really good songs for investigating and stuff. No, actually, Mondo kind of came in and took the fave momentum that I was giving to Leon. I don't think I talked about Leon in the last episode, but he was one of my first favorite characters because I think he's just really cute. I think he just has a nice design. I thought he was funny. I thought his premise was really funny. He was the baseball guy, but now he's not. He's just this musician guy. And I think the subtext says he's a loser, but even though my brain was going to oh, he's this lazy guy, we're gonna make fun of him because oh, I just want to play music and follow my spirit, man. I just want to have the vibes. Oh, I'm such a loser. Oh, I'm just gonna kill this person because I'm lazy and I have no moral backbone. And I feel like it was maybe one of those things where it's oh, that sensitive, soft-spined loser broke immediately and tried to kill someone. But that's not true either. I was right about Sayaka betraying us, but not quite in the way that I would have thought. She was really the first murderer. She was really the first murderer. I opened up the game. I shouldn't have opened up the game. I needed to go to bed and rest off whatever con crud I got from volunteering at a con yesterday, because I have the JLPT this weekend. But I booted up the game. I'm okay, I think I'm gonna play maybe my first investigation. Maybe I'll get a sense for if Mondo did it or not. The first thing I see is that she wrote Leon's name in blood, and it is blatantly obvious. It is blatantly obvious, at least to me, who is a big big alphabet reader, personally. There's a couple little funny comments about Danganronpa and language I might make, but actually I'll just say them now. Playing in Japanese has been really funny because A, I'm very proud that I understand 85% of what's going on, but there's so much emphasis on words and language and evidence and stuff that there is a huge added layer of difficulty where it feels like I'm studying for my exam because they're and they did the and I'm I know that kanji, I know that kanji, I know that kanji. It is legitimately, especially when I was choosing bullets. That was a long night of mini games, wasn't it? When I was choosing bullets to shoot at things to prove them wrong, it was a really, really fun language lesson. But then it even came down to the prosody choosing the letters kind of thing. And I seriously did not know what Kyoko was hinting at. My summary's all over the place, isn't it? I did not know what Kyoko was hinting at. She's like, tell him, fucking Protag-kun. And I saw the letters. I'm like, what the fuck are we spelling? And I'm like, oh, Kami no K, her hair. I'm like, I don't know what we're spelling. I don't know what we're spelling. So it literally feels like, on one hand, this crazy M-rated, like, tour de force, but also a leapfrog learning how to spell words game for me, because I legitimately, like, need to be tested on how to spell some of these things. So that's been really, really fun. Less fun is that I've missed a couple important things that I might stop and check, maybe partway through this video, actually. I meant to pull up Leon's Wikipedia page before this. There are a couple things that have escaped me, and I'm like, wait, well, what were they talking about there? But by and large, I was completely fine, so very fun language. Yeah, Leon... I think I needed to give this game a little bit more respect. I opened up his Wikipedia page thinking there wouldn't be anything that could surprise me. And, brace yourselves. They've been in this school for multiple years because of a larger overarching story, and their memories were wiped? What the fuck does that mean? That might have ruined Danganronpa. What did I just read? What did I just read? This is a very different kind of episode because now I'm spiraling into madness. This isn't... They weren't brought here for killing... They weren't brought here for, like, a killing... Someone started a killing game inside something else. What? Is it possible to continue just pretending this is a normal killing? Is this what they do in V3? Is this why people have beef with the ending of this trilogy? What do you mean they've been... I've been viewing the... Well, I see... You see, I guess... So this just became a lot more like 100 Line. Yeah, I see why Kodaka gets so much, like, focus and credit with the creative stuff behind 100 Line. Because, like, I love the quote, I know I'm going to come to hate this guy, but I love the quote where he says, like, everything he's ever wanted to create, like, every story he's, like, needed to tell can be found inside the Danganronpa trilogy. I think that's really cool and, like, self-knowing and stuff. I find that very cool. But obviously, there's something about this larger narrative where the kids were sheltering inside this school, and then their memories got wiped, and, like, the fact that this whole killing game is predicated on them not knowing what just happened, and oh, it just feels like a much less impactful version of 100 Line. But I'm gonna carry on by analyzing my car crash into this revelation that happened while I was recording the video. Just start analyzing the characters with less focus on the context. They really are quite bound together, aren't they? Okay. Anyhow, so there's a killing game, obviously, and Sayaka, who doesn't remember that she's been gone from her life for 2 years. Oh my god. Okay, that's really something. Wow. Anyhow, the Sayaka that I knew, who believed that she just showed up here yesterday, really got effed up by what she saw, which I now know was in fact her idol mates being either killed, or Monokuma being like, I very well may have killed them. And she pretty much immediately went psycho mode. And yeah, the conversation where she was talking about Makoto Protector being her ally till the very end was discussed in the, trial as being her saying, like, yeah, like, somebody pointed out, like, oh, this theory doesn't make any sense. This thing we're putting together with Sayaka, it doesn't make any sense because Makoto would betray her. And it's like, no, Makoto wouldn't betray her. So that was a huge thing. And I honestly, putting Leon aside now, just entirely, the only thing I wanted to learn on that frickin' Wikipedia page was about a screwdriver, god damn it. The crazier thing is that Sayaka was the killer. That is halfway through the trial, because like I didn't really give a fuck about getting revenge on this random guy. Like I was mad, but it was just like I'm not like in this to watch him die. Like very quickly, me and the protagonist as well got kind of taken out of it by the revelation that although we had most of the murder put together, there was something in here that we weren't ready for. Multiple things, actually. One of them being that Sayaka was trying to kill Leon to leave and figured that she could get away with it because Makoto would die for her. Makoto would be like, no, 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 you couldn't do this. Like, this wouldn't be you. And that would prevent them from solving the case. So that's very depressing. Also, something very funny. Apparently, from reading Leon's Wikipedia page, there was a lot going on I could have found with, like, I could have talked to him more. I could have learned that he and Sayaka had not, like, a thing, but, like, he was kind of into Sayaka. Like, she was his type. Like, you know, they'd only known each other consciously for, like, a couple days, but, like, she knew that she was his type. And this was like a known thing. So that's why there was a little bit of something when she made the letter saying, come to my room, I need to talk to you. She was luring him in to kill him. Which, put a pin in that for later, was 100% like a normal murder attempt. But it kind of gets crazier cuckoo sauce where, and this is why I was looking for the screwdriver. He could have tried to de-escalate the situation, but instead he decided to kill her in retaliation with what he had, which is what happened. And he was very committed, going so far as to go to his room to get the screwdriver to unlock the door in Makoto's bathroom. I knew that was coming later. One of the only conversations I didn't fully understand was the shower door thing. I'm like, why are we talking so much about the shower door? Now I guess I know. But there was this one thing that I didn't fully understand in Japanese because my brain was melted at this point. It was about to be midnight. And so we already did all the mini games and Leon's about to die. And he's like, I don't want to die. Oh, 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 oh. And Celeste says in her like most murder tone ever, something about the fact that he had the screwdriver somehow damned him to like, nah, you were going to kill somebody. The only line I like vividly remember was like, eventually you were going to kill somebody. And I'm like, why the screwdriver? What is she talking about? I got the gist, but at that point, like my brain was just off and I didn't understand the conversation Japanese wise. So that was something. And it was the one thing that made me, does he need to die? I don't know. But in the end of the day, he killed Sayaka. Sayaka was going to kill him, and we saw him get executed, which was not really much catharsis, but I kind of knew, like, I think there's going to be some aftercare, because that wasn't fun. My only friend is gone. And there's the mid-conversation revelation of, like, the fucking Hifumi, the fucking Dojin guy, was like, what if she was inviting a boy over? And Makoto's like, that's not something she would do. And then I think Kyoko starts smiling or something, and it's like, it's actually a possibility. And I, along with Makoto, I'm like, no! She was, like, two-timing. She had, like, multiple people who she was going to use to survive. I was really sad. But then there's that aftercare. I'm like, I know this is going to end on a happy note. There's going to be something. And Kyoko, who is the happy note in this chapter, says, by the way, I've been thinking, I need to talk to you about this. She was thinking of you in her final moments. Because why would she leave a hint for us to solve this murder? If she's going to die, and she's been reduced to the state where she's willing to kill people, why would she leave a hint to help us solve the murder? Like, where we entered this, assuming we were buddy-buddy and she was killed in cold blood, yeah, like, it would make sense, like, she wants her friend Makoto to solve it because, you know, they were like a team at that point. But obviously she was not, on a certain level, actually that linked to us. But in the end, when she was dying, she was thinking of trying to save somebody. I 100% buy that. It's weird and it's muddy, but it totally worked on me. It put that hope back in my chest. I absolutely believe that, like, she didn't want to be doing what she was doing. That's show business. But, like, there was a separate part of her who was still, like, you know, she was lost in the sauce. She was lost in the despair. But there was still a part of her that was like, shit. Like, Makoto doesn't need to die for this. Like, fuck, this is stupid. So that made me happy. that is my very weird, very disjointed summary of the story I just read, which is in no way the most interesting thing that just happened, because there are so many freaking weird characters and things happening. And this is only the beginning. I have so much to talk about in terms of the characters in the story. So actually, no, it's time to go back to the thing I put a pin in. I was locked in. Not only was I locked in ever since I saw Leon's name being written, I was locked into the trial. I'm like, I don't know how long these are, but I know they're really fun. I'll just play it till I'm done. And then that was after midnight, and now I had to take a sick day because my immune system is not great, and like I was gonna get sick if I went to school today. Um, Partway through that fever dream, I start to realize, okay, Sayaka called him here, and then he was gonna kill her. No, Sayaka called him here to kill him. Wait, I've seen this before. Fucking Darumi Amemi 100 line references this really early in Scenario Zero. She says something. It's definitely in like her self-introduction. She says like, oh, I bet I'm like the stupid looking pretty airheaded type who like you could lure to meet privately and then stab. I'm like, that's a very specific thing you just said. That's what the first case of Danganronpa is. I guess she's technically talking about Leon. Oh my god. It's literally that. It's literally that. She references the first case of Danganronpa, and as I'm trying to solve the first case of Danganronpa, all of a sudden I'm reminded, oh, Darumi told me how this goes. What is this, just a hornet's nest full of spoilers? I can't. I can't with this. That was very funny. Hi, Noreen. It's the future now. I'm contacting you for Monday. What day is it, and how is Darumi? LMAO. Anyhow, yeah. So, unfortunately, like, yeah, Leon stocks took a pretty big hit. Like, I don't know. I wasn't, like, looking to, like, I wasn't looking for some fascinating personality, but I don't know. Seeing him in that trial just being, like, an idiot, like, oh, that was funny, but so much of his screen time ended up just becoming him, like, freaking out and obviously being the first, like, murderer. So I don't know. In the end, I can see now from the Wikipedia page there's all kinds of like weird side stuff where you can see the characters more and enjoy them more, but he was the first big loser of like, oh, they seemed pretty interesting but they died really early. So, or maybe he wasn't even that interesting. Maybe it was just the core conceit of being like the funny, like, I don't want to be the best baseball player in the country anymore. Maybe that was just it. But whatever. I don't know. He's definitely not going to be one of my favorite characters now. Funny story. I voted for him in the official Danganronpa Nendoroid selection poll, along with Ibuki, because I think they have cool designs. More on that later. And, yeah, I didn't know that I was voting for such a loser. He just dies and looks pathetic, and that's his whole arc, which I guess I can appreciate in hindsight. I won't say that I'm not a hashtag Leon Legion member, but definitely not one of my more favorite characters. Another thing that happened while I was on that little poll is one of the first major spoilers of today. They just straight up spoil the fact that Toko is Genocider Jack. She's just sitting in that stupid classroom with almost nothing to say, and the beautiful shoujo of despair or whatever the fuck is written, like, we have been jacked, or whatever the fuck she wrote in Japanese on the chalkboard. I never noticed that, but it obviously lines up perfectly with the bit of like, did you guys ever hear the rumor of Genocider Jack? And then she's just sitting there in this room with that, but who cares about foreshadowing, because the official Nendoroid poll has her with her tongue out, which I didn't know was plot relevant. Now I'm embarrassed about posting about that. And she's Genocider Jack. Great. Her stocks took a huge hit last night, because I liked her a lot, actually. I liked her sprites. I liked her supreme hater energy. I thought she was really funny, just like as the character she was presenting herself as. But it turns out that's only one part of her. And then, oh my god, when we were in the trial, she's just freaking out and acting sus the entire goddamn time. Should I switch my predictions? Is she gonna be the second person to murder somebody? Because they're just layering so much onto her in a way that nobody else is getting layered onto. But at the same time, if there's this whole reveal, then is she even gonna die early? I don't know. I don't know if she's gonna die early or late. My gut's starting to say early, but it's weird to wrap my head around. I liked her. I liked her a lot. I might come to like her more once I like recontextualize her as like a fucking serial killer that snuck into the game or whatever. But well, I don't even want to know what was happening in the actual timeline and the actual like being here for 2 years as a shelter or whatever the hell I just read. I don't know. She was one of my more favorite designs too, and I liked her sprites a lot, but it's less funny now. It's more just like cuckoo crazy. I don't know. Toko stocks took a little bit of a hit. But on the opposite hand, I think some of the characters that got the biggest boost were the ones who took the assignment really seriously. Sakura and Mondo, something about them like very earnestly setting out to try and solve the mystery, and also like Sakura much more helpfully than Mondo during the actual trial. Like, you know, saying things, having thoughts. I don't think either of them are going to be like the smartest tools in the shed, especially Mondo, less so Sakura. I just kind of liked them. I'm very guarded with Sakura because I have a feeling this is kind of going to be some unfortunately bigger picture reasons why I don't come to like her as much. Like, I don't know. I just feel like there's some kind of unfunny joke going on with like giving her like the darker skin and the body type and everything. Like, I like her out of context. I think she's a fun character so far. I think she's like very earnest and everything like that. Like, I like her and I like that I look like her, but I have a feeling there's a larger transphobic, somewhat racist, colorist kind of issue going on here, which will be for a later episode. But for now, I liked her, and I especially liked the fact that she apparently hangs out with Aoi, and now they are permanently locked in my brain as a pair, because they're both like very positive and helpful, and maybe not the smartest tools in the shed. They're not going to survive, but they definitely have been bringing a nice energy to the last couple hours I've been playing. And the idea of them being friends and sporty jock buddies and not really seeming too likely to have any ill will really kind of solidified them in my brain. But Mondo, I think, was the biggest winner, maybe, because I was ready to just leave him for dead. I actually thought he was acting sus enough that he was gonna be the killer. That's what the entire last episode is about. And like, I'm not like a huge Mondo fan or anything. His hair is kind of gross every time I stop and try to think about like how does it work. I don't know how it works. I don't know, like, he's not my favorite biker. It's a very competitive archetype at this point. He's not my favorite biker gangster guy, but I liked how earnest he was. I liked that he tried his best. I liked that he was like really trying to contribute something during the trial and the investigation, and frankly, I would have been pretty happy to see him kill Leon. The actual baseball death trap was like, okay, ha ha ha, like, sure, I guess that's what these death traps are like. But if Motorcycle Death Cage was him hitting Leon with his bike over and over again, I might have preferred that. Like, you know what? We know this guy wants to kill people. Let him kill people for justice. Like, is that? Am I already losing myself if I say that? Like, come on, it's not gonna change anything in his heart. And we as a group will be stirred up by like, yeah, you shouldn't have fucking done that, Leon. Even if Sayako is trying to kill him. I don't know. I saw on the Wikipedia page that like they change it in some things where like he tries to calm her down first, but like, I don't know. I'm on Team Screwdriver. I kind of believe that like he was getting to that point of having bloodlust anyhow, even if he did kind of wander into being the first murderer. I don't know. I definitely appreciate how muddy the waters are here, with like both Leon and Sayaka kind of being the first victims and murderers in a certain way. And they're also very thematically related, or I guess vibe related, like theme in the not story way. They're both musical. I think I'll talk about that with my predictions later. Anyhow, the screwdriver, Celeste is definitely one of my favorite characters now. I was talking about her before and like joking about her because like, oh, she's so funny, but she's crazy. She really had so much aura in the whole trial, especially with Junko being gone. I've been noticing like there's just not a lot of big personalities, and she really is fucking smart. She's 100% committed to being who she is, which is just like this brutally cutting, realistic character who is so freaking interesting compared to a couple other characters. And like, she is always on the ball. She has such a grasp on the situation, even though it seems like she barely had to be involved in the investigation because of, well, Kyoko, who I'll talk about in a minute. But oh my god, she was so funny to watch, and it's just like, yeah, she could be your ally and help you with the trial when that's like what is actually happening. But then like, she's also really scary when she's being fucking honest about the fact that no, you have to die now, Leon. Like, she really is spooky. She gives me chills. Like, for kind of just another Kodaka like subculture fashion girly, she really shines as like the gothic Lolita girl. I think her design and her personality and her sprites really come together into a very memorable personality. And my only concern is, who is she gonna kill and when? Because like, she's on our team until she probably thinks she can kill somebody and get away with it. And I have a huge spoiler to go on. I guess I'll mix it in now. But I also have a huge concern to go off of. So, okay. Brief break from the character analysis, I guess. Game Grumps. Game Grumps Danganronpa Chapter 3 highlights. You want to know the thumbnail? The thumbnail is what's-her-face, the trans girl, looking kind of sad, taking up like the whole thumbnail as if she probably is the murder victim of Chapter 3. It just gave me the vibe of like either something really sad happens to her or she got killed. And then who is on the corner of the thumbnail looking like a meme but Celeste? And I have a hard time unseeing this as a spoiler that Celeste kills her, which is gonna be really funny for my future Celeste month related thought processes about this character. If she kills a trans person, that'd be really bad. That'd be really bad. But it does at least seem possible. I mean, it might just be that like she's so off the rails at this point that like, haha, she was the funniest part of Game Grumps Chapter 3 Danganronpa 1. I don't know. I'm not like completely committed to her killing her, but I don't know. It's hard to unsee that. But worst of all is I'm starting to wonder, again, this is my Chapter 1 impressions, could she be the one who kills Kyoko? I'm dancing around Kyoko as a topic, but Kyoko is definitely my favorite character. Kyoko has been like kind of the thing that got me like interested in this cast. I've been trying to read her light novel, not terribly successfully. I think she's so cool. Unfortunately, again with the parallels, the obvious parallels, she's a lot like Hiriko, but I've just connected with her a lot more. And as things go to hell, she stands as like a literal beacon of hope in this chapter. Like, she just step by step, not even having to reveal herself as a detective, obviously is one of the only people who can help you get through this, who seems to be like a decent enough person that you can trust her, and like could survive this theoretically, but I don't think she survives this because I don't know if these characters all die in the end. I kind of figured for some reason that like a lot of them would live, but then like I don't think that makes sense with the rules. But then again, there's other spoilers. I don't know. I'll get to those in a minute. But I don't know. She's obviously a huge character. I reckon she makes it until she's like one of the very last deaths or something. But the thing is, I feel like Celeste is like Ima. Celeste is like Ima. That's why I like her. She's so scary. She's even more unhinged. There's not even like a trace of humanity in her, from what I can say. Celeste seems like the type of person who knows for like a cold, dead, hard fact that if she can survive long enough that most of the people die, and then she takes out Kyoko, there's nobody left to stop her, because she's smart enough to like make a very elaborate, hard to trace murder. And if she kills the best detective, nobody will catch her. If she is a smart, gambling woman, I hate this. I hate this, but at the same time, I would have to give respect to. I mean, if Kyoko's gonna die, I want it to be like Junko or Celeste. You know what I mean? Like, I want it to be one of like the spookiest characters, right? Like that's how I would want it to go. Not that I want her to die, but I just have a feeling that's what's happening, which is really tragic. Just such a cool character with so much potential and such a cool backstory, and this is her final resting place. Like, I don't want her to die. But yeah, I don't know. That Celeste versus Kyoko thing is definitely gonna be on my mind now. But does everybody have to die? Two characters that I think almost nothing about include Byako, whatever that guy, the rich boy. I don't fucking care about him. I don't like him. He's my least favorite character. And he's in Danganronpa too, apparently. But now he's fat. Haha, hee. What the fuck? Can people survive this? And if they survive this, why does he survive this? Does he, like, pay to leave? Or does, like, a small cluster of characters actually survive this? I don't know what to think, but now that I've noticed that he's in all of the promotional material for Danganronpa 2, but now he's fat, I have a lot of questions. Is it, like, an imposter? He does seem likely to be, like, imposter-fied, but then they'd be doing the Junko thing again. Wow, this is real tea spilling hours now. Holy shit. And then, another story, still related to analyzing the characters. Another character who, like, I like fine. He's like, okay, I didn't change anything about him. The fortune-telling guy who's 21, he's in the demo, or the special demo they showed for Danganronpa 2x2, as the murder victim. And then fat Byakoko, or whatever his name is like, even I don't know this guy. I'm like, what is going on? I feel like he's gonna die really soon. I don't know when, but I feel like the fortune-telling guy is just like, yeah, he's probably gonna die. Maybe he'll snap and kill some. I don't think he's gonna do that, though. I don't know. But why is he in the demo? Is that a joke? Or does he exist in the time period of Danganronpa 2? I don't know anymore, you guys. I really don't know. Oh my god. Yeah. So, my brain's being reduced to pudding. But to wrap up some other characters, I like Aoi a good bit now. She seems like a solid pal, especially in the post-Sayaka era. She just seems very personable, and I like that she's, like, not very smart, and I like that Celeste made fun of her for that. That's cute. That's whatever. It's fine. That's a cool thing. You don't have to be smart. You just have to be a good person, I think. Probably. Well, maybe. I actually came to like the hall monitor guy a little bit more because he had really funny sprites. I started to like him and Hifumi a lot during the trial because they have such goofy sprites and reactions to everything, and they're also both kind of dumb, which is really endearing. I love how, what's his face, Kiyomaru, Kyosuke, he's just like always like yelling and like flustered, and his like face is always shaking, but he never has like almost anything to contribute in that first trial, which I found kind of endearing. Yeah. Then Hifumi he's like kind of gross. He's like also like a fat phobic joke in a lot of ways, so it's like it's kind of funny. I don't know, bottom 5, but yeah. And then Chihiro. Like, I get it. Like, if I were more like gassed up about just the fact that she's like non-binary or trans and she's transfemme in some way, like I might just be more like, wow, like she's really cute. She has a really cute design. She's pretty endearing. I like that she has like a clear thing with the programmer, and this was written like probably a lot. Well, Noreen will probably tell me. Hi, Noreen. How long has it been mainstream that trans femmes are programmers? Like, how long has that been, like, a well-known thing? Has it been, like, a known thing if you know? Like, how has that changed since the release of Danganronpa 1? I don't know. Like, these days, it would be, like, almost a stereotype to release Chihiro, but back then, it's like, yeah, no, that's gonna age pretty well for people. But, like, she's not any higher than, like 7th or 8th or something in my rankings right now. She's fine, but she's like, I can't do anything. Oh dear, oh goodness, oh man. It's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to do a couple things and show a little more spirit if you want me to like you, but happy. I don't want you to die. I like you. I hope you live a long time, but yeah, I'm not like crazy about her. Whatever. I don't think it was like one of her bigger chapters anyhow. It's just about everybody, right? It's scary how quickly I've become able to like list off everybody's name in a relatively short amount of time. Yeah. I will make some kind of ranking, like stock market visual to go with that. But now we do have to go on to my my predictions, which are gonna be funky. Okay, because there is so much actual connection between Leon and Sayaka, now I feel like I have a little bit more ground to say that Mondo's gonna kill the hall monitor. It would make me sad because I don't know, like I don't know. Mondo just seems so much more civil compared to Leon, even though he's like the crazy gangster and everything. Just the fact that like Leon was like, oh god, I guess I have to fucking murder this woman now. I get it, I'm not gonna make too hard of a judgment because of what happened and everything like that, but seeing him go through everything, it's like, no, Mondo's like all right, but will he just kill somebody? I don't know. I'm starting to think, here's my actual prediction. I know that Monokuma kills him somehow. I've seen something about that, which is like, sure, that's how all the executions work. But does he get killed outside of the killing game? Like, does he get killed because he pisses off Monokuma? That's one prediction. If not, I gotta keep saying Mondo's gonna kill the fucking hall monitor boy. But if I were to put that aside, I guess I would say it is starting to maybe seem like Toko could be the next killer, but it seems a little bit like playing your hand too early with that character. I don't really know. And I don't know who she would kill either. I mean, it was pretty hard to predict anything about Leon and Sayaka, so we'll see what that's worth. But yeah, generally, I will say Chiaki probably does die in chapter 3. I hate to say it, there could be multiple kinds of murderers there, because anybody who wants to kill is somewhat likely to kill the very small, very like constantly afraid character. Like it's kind of like squishing a little hamster or something. It's like, ah, fuck, you shouldn't do that. But it is true that that's one of the easier things to kill. I believe Kyoko survives till late game, but I wouldn't be surprised if she's like the last death or the second to last death. God, she's really such a cool character. Man. I guess I predict that the rich boy survives, because that's in Danganronpa 2. I think Hifumi and fortune teller guy die relatively soon. So if Toko, Genocider Jack, was going to kill somebody, I would say it's either Hifumi or fortune teller guy, because I don't think they're built to survive the winter. Like, as characters, it seems like they're gonna die pretty early. And I felt similarly about Celeste. In fact, I may have even said, word for word, I feel like Celeste is likely to die early for the reasons Darumi said she was going to die early. But now that I think about it, what Darumi says lines up more with like the visually, the pretty goofy airhead kind of character, like Leon and Sayaka. So I don't think I see Celeste that way anymore. I think Celeste is gonna survive quite a while and be one of like the most, like I would honestly say, if I were to predict something right now, I would say that like if Junko was like the last person to kill somebody or something like that, then the person before her, like if we're trying to convict like Junko or something like that in the very, very ending, the last person, like the semi-final person we would be trying to convict would be Celeste, because I feel like she's going to wait. That's just my thing. I am 100% putting down my chips on her being a murderer, not a victim. Aside from that, is there anybody I'm forgetting? Kind of, no. Sakura. Uh, Fortune-telling guy kills Sakura. I don't know. I feel like Sakura is more likely to be a victim. I feel like Sakura is more likely to be a victim because she could kill anybody and it would be like, how did she kill them? Oh, because she's incredibly strong. But it's more interesting to be like, how did you manage to kill Sakura? You know what I mean? I think she's very No, what about Aoi? She's not surviving this. Oh, I don't know what's gonna happen to her. Maybe she gets pissed and kills Hifumi, but now I'm throwing out a whole web of predictions. But which I guess is the more fun way to do it, considering it's hard to nail down any one thing. But anyhow, I gotta go record B-roll for this now, don't I? Happy Danganronpa sick day, everybody. Holy shit. Wait, I have a side story. And I'll tell you next time. It's about Ibuki.